All right. Fight of the night, Palma versus Rubio. The performance of the nights go to Salas and Alvarado.
Dana, fantastic card overall. Great events on the main card, but obviously you give away the first title in Zuffa history with Jai Opetaia. Give me your thoughts on his performance overall. Seemed like a pretty well-rounded performance from start to finish.
Yeah, absolute clinic. Looked incredible. I was just telling the guys, I can't remember the last time I got sprayed with sweat and blood like 3 times tonight. Those guys were going, and much respect. I mean, the shots he took, I went in there and told him, you know how we are with this kind of stuff. We're sending you straight to the hospital, and he's fighting with me that he didn't want to go. And hopefully I talked his corner into making him go to the hospital. But that shit freaks me out.
There was a lot of discussion about the referee's involvement in the fight. Yeah. What did you think about that? I don't want you to just, sit up here and bang on the commission already this early, but
I think that Nevada's always been looked at as the best for referees and stuff like that because they got the most work. They don't get a lot of work anymore, but we're going to change that. I thought the ref was way too involved in the fight than he should have been.
So it's a great accomplishment for Jai, obviously winning this inaugural belt, but it comes with some controversy, right? Like he loses the IBF title in the process. Weird story this week. We touched on it a little bit last night, but I mean, what are your thoughts on this? They initially say they're going to support it, and they withdraw support of it this week leading up to it. Bizarre situation. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt that he's the best in the world, and he paid his sanctioning fees. They flew a guy out here, and then, saying they were disrespected at the press conference. The belt was in front of him the entire time, and he held it in his hand when he did the face-off. The Zuffa belt was in the middle because nobody had it. He had the other 2 belts, and they were fighting for that one. So
I know you said these sanctioning bodies are kind of doing your job for you. Do you think that people are starting to see, maybe the ridiculousness of some of the sanctioning fees and their decision to just pull?
The fact that you're asking me that means that that's exactly what you guys think too. I mean, it's pretty clear what they're doing and what's going on, and I see lawsuits coming. That's what I see.
Yeah. Well, afterwards, Jai said, "Listen, I do want to be undisputed." So, what does that mean to you? Like, what can you work with these sanctions?
Well, he wanted this. He wanted to fight for the belt. I mean, when you think about it, the guy has. I think he's fought for the IBF title like 11 times or something like that. He's defended it, broke his jaw in 2 places one time, and finished the fight. And that's the way they're going to do it. It's very, very odd and very unprofessional. Yeah. So we'll see how this thing plays out.
I know you said to wait a year to judge you, to see where you stand in your evolution on this, but, I mean, this was a historic night with an inaugural belt. Where do you feel like you've made progress after just 4 events compared to where you thought you'd be?
Well, I think we're going to get better every single fight, And then I keep telling you every time I come to we now have 22 television deals in 88 countries. So every time I come back in front of you, and do another press conference, we have more countries, we have more TV deals. And when you think about for these fighters to be able to get the exposure that they're going to get under Zuffa Boxing, it's just, we're 4 fights in and we're second to literally none.
I believe you have the top 4 boxing gates here in Apex history as well, the venue record.
But we do keep breaking the merch record.
Yeah?
The merch record keeps getting broken. Yeah, we keep breaking the Apex merch record.
Well, I want to ask you, because the atmosphere in there was pretty spectacular. I just want to ask, from both an MMA perspective and a boxing perspective, like where the venue stands in terms of growth. It sounds like maybe it's even going to get bigger and more expansion. Like, what's going on with the Apex?
Yeah, well, the expansion will be done here. I mean, have you guys seen the bathrooms? I mean, we had porta potties here like 8 months ago. You know what I mean? The bathrooms look like you're at Red Rock now. The food, we have a real ticket box office outside, expanded the parking, and the total expansion should be done around May. But when you walk in that front area where we do the press conferences, that's all going to get blown out, and that'll be more seats. We're putting another skybox up top, so there'll be like 1,100 to 1,300 people in here when we're done with the expansion. But we have some announcements coming out, about Zuffa Boxing, and we will be traveling around and doing things this year.
Fantastic. The last thing I wanted to ask you, kind of joked last night when we were talking about Tom Aspinall. You checked in with Eddie Hearn, but just curious what your thoughts are about Eddie Hearn getting into managing and going after Tom Aspinall, and does that make relationships difficult? It's like a rival promoter plus a manager.
Is he a rival promoter?
He's another.
I haven't
promoter.
seen a fucking rival anything from Eddie Hearn or any of these other guys. He's a manager now. Who gives a shit? We deal with lots of different people. I wouldn't call Eddie Hearn a rival anything.
Dana, going back to
He's a manager. There's a fucking million of them, and we deal with them all. And, have you ever heard, us having problems with dealing with a manager? What is Eddie Hearn going to bring to the management table that we haven't seen in the last 25 years? No? Nothing? Crickets? Nobody? Yeah.
Going back to the IBF situation, they pulled that move late in the day of fight week. Do you feel, based on your instinct, that they were really kind of pathetic enough to be disrespected by the belt location, or do you feel like they had that in mind to try and screw over your event late in the week?
100%. That's exactly what they did. Because that press release came out pretty late on a Friday night, when they were planning on having a title fight on Sunday. So, yeah.
You always knew that the sanctioning bodies were going to greet you, not exactly with open arms. Were you expecting these sort of plays from them, or are you a little bit surprised how out of the way they're going?
I was expecting a lot more from boxing, period, than what I've seen. Listen, this sport is broken for a reason. Everybody is a bunch of rinky-dink. I mean, it's the most fucking rinky-dink thing that I have ever seen in my life. I don't know why I expected more from any of these people, but boy, let me tell you what, shit's about to get good.
I saw an interview you did this week where you were talking about how Zuffa Boxing won't just be good for the top guys like Fury and Usyk, but also maybe the middle class of fighters will start making more money than they have in boxing previously. Is that something you want to do, is sort of equal out the wages or salaries we see in boxing so the younger guys get more money than they traditionally have?
Well, if you look at what we did with the UFC and how this was built. The same exact, there's no secret to the game plan here. It's exactly what we're going to do. When's the last time there was a middle class in boxing, right? You have the haves and you have the have-nots. That's it.
Okay. And last one for me. Look, the Conor Benn signing for Zuffa Boxing or the one-off ring show for $15 million has expectedly got a reaction from UFC fighters who see the $15 million figure. Now, I know that Mark Shapiro said that's Turkey's money, but what would you say to UFC fighters who see Conor Benn earning that sort of money and maybe being a little bit frustrated?
Well, listen, everybody. Why is it a bad thing when guys make more money? You know what I mean? It's never a bad thing when guys make more money. It's always a good thing when there's more money in the sport. And since 2001, fighter pay has gone like this nonstop. Obviously, we just got a great television rights deal. I promise you that fighter pay is going to be just fine over the next 7 years.
Dana, it seemed like you guys were trying to find a working solution with the IBF in this case. Now that this has happened, is this the final straw for you? Are you done with the sanctioning bodies?
Well, my goal is whatever fighter comes in here, whoever we end up signing, before I ever got into the game, these kids had, goals and dreams and ambitions, that things they wanted to accomplish in boxing. And we want to help them with that. We don't want to hurt anybody. We want to help them. And obviously, if it meant working with sanctioning organizations, Jai wanted to do this. He paid his sanctioning, paid his fee. Their boy flew over here and got his per diem and then jumped back on a fucking plane and flew back. I mean, we did everything that you're supposed to do. So we'll see how it plays out. It'll be on a case-by-case basis.
Okay, and last time, since we were here, you've signed Conor Benn. Are there some other big signings coming in the next few weeks that you can talk about?
I'm going to sign everybody that we think has the potential to be a world champion or that is potentially the best in the world.
Shakur Stevenson and Alexander Usyk, are they on that list?
Do you consider him to be one of the best in the world and could, yeah. I'm going to fucking sign everybody. Everybody. And we're gonna end up doing more fights this year. I mean, this year this has been such a joke coming into this business, and these people are so unsophisticated and so bad at what they do. We might actually be doing 44 fights this year, just like the UFC.
I heard Hot Rod and Umar Zambakov will be in July for the light heavyweight Zuffa title. Is that true?
We'll announce it when it's ready.
Okay, thank you so much.
Dana, front
Yep.
right here. Other side right here.
Yep.
I don't know if you saw, but this morning, John Jones went on a bit of a Twitter tirade, and then he ended up deleting them. Have you seen his comments?
No.
Or he basically very heavily pushed back on you, saying that there were no negotiations. And then
I never said there were no negotiations. I never said that. I said, were they talking to John Jones? They talked to everybody. Everybody was talked to. Not one word of what I said was not true about the whole John Jones thing. And how many times have I sat up here and said, he's not fighting at the White House? No. And have you guys not all seen the video of the dude with the meta glasses on when he didn't know he was being filmed, telling them that his hips are fucking shot and he needs hip replacement? Did you not see the videos of him running on the flag football game? And what did I say that wasn't true? It was all true. And you guys all bust my balls about how much I love John Jones. And John's the greatest of all time. No way in hell John Jones is going to be booked for the White House card. Wasn't going to happen. But the matchmakers were out talking to everybody, seeing what was possible, and they brought me every possible fight that could be made.
Dana, just going off that to your right, and the White House card, there's a lot of reporting out of Spain today saying that it was going to be Ilia Topuria and Islam Makhachev, and that fight fell apart
That's
on
not
Friday. Well, Justin Gaethje also said he was told Thursday he wasn't on the card, and then on Friday he was.
That is true.
So what happened with Islam, I guess? Because you know how fans are, a lot of them.
That's
now
not true,
thinking-
I said.
Sure. So
It was never Islam versus
Ilia.
Topuria, yeah.
So anyone who thinks Islam ducked this fight or anything like that,
Yeah.
it's all incorrect.
Don't worry about what fights are being made. We announce which ones are made and which ones will be happening. I told you there were some weird circumstances. The reason that fight fell out, and it wasn't up on stage with Mick Hunter and Sean, it was that power slap that the fight fell apart that night. And then all the boys went back to the office and literally were there till 9 in the morning. And that's how Gaethje ended up on the card.
Gotcha. When can we expect to see Islam Makhachev back?
And Topuria wasn't originally supposed to be on the card either.
Okay.
So he got the call too.
Gotcha. When can we expect to see Islam Makhachev back?
I don't know. He's got some hand issues. I know that. I don't know how serious the hand issues are or how long that will keep him out. But yeah, he's injured.
Thank you.
Dana, right here, just one.
Yep.
You talked about hitting the road with Zuffa Boxing. Is one of those things the plan to take Callum Walsh back to Ireland? I know he's been wanting to fight back at home again, and obviously it seemed to be a great success when you took Callum last time prior to Zuffa Boxing.
Yeah, I mean we're talking about going everywhere. I mean we'll be in the UK. We're going to do fights in Australia, Mexico. You know.
Can't wait.
Yeah. Thanks.
Dana, kind of a question. If I apologize, it's kind of a little off topic right here, but here in Las Vegas, Max Crosby was a good friend of yours, big MMA guy, big UFC guy, now heading off to Baltimore. Just, I guess, kind of a few of your thoughts on what that guy kind of meant to you and to the sport.
So I was driving to Power Slap on Friday night, and it popped up on my feed. I called him, and he was just pulling into Power Slap, and he just found out at the same time. He didn't know either. So, you know, we talked about it, and obviously, you know, he loves this city. He said, I just paid my house off. I'm not going anywhere. So he's going to obviously continue to live in Las Vegas, but he's excited about, you know, the potential in Baltimore, too, of possibly, you know, winning a Super Bowl. So he turned around and went home and said, I'm not going to Power Slap. I'm going to lay low for a few days and do my thing. But I'm really happy for him. I know he's excited about it. So, but he's going to continue to be a Las Vegas resident.
Hi, Dana. Question. So if Zuffa promotes events, shapes title fights, and builds its own ecosystem, in your opinion, do you think fighters will have more freedom or less?
Well, you know what I think of the sanctioning organizations anyway. So, first of all, there's too many of them, and you know, And by freedom, what do you mean by freedom?
My follow-up to that was, is anything in the agreement for Zuffa will prevent fighters from competing outside of Zuffa? Jay has been very clear that he wants to, be undisputed, and we have these issues with the IBF. So we're just wondering to see if the agreement will allow for the roster to compete outside of your network.
Well, I'm not saying I will or won't do anything. I think we're sort of taking everything now on a case-by-case basis, but you also know how I operate. Once you're signed with me, you're with me. So, but yeah, I don't know. There's no right or wrong answer to any of this right now. We would just go on a case-by-case basis and obviously try to make things happen for somebody that we would sign. And obviously, if we're signing a guy and we're bringing him in, he's going to say, listen, this is what I would like to accomplish. And we either agree with him or we don't. And if we do, then we'll sign him. And if we don't, we probably wouldn't.
I know that Jai has been very, even today in the ring, that he still wants to be undisputed. You mentioned that he paid the sanctioning fees. Have we heard anything from a refund?
No. I mean, you would think that would be the first thing that they would do. The first thing you would think these guys would do is say, we're not sanctioned in this fight. Our belt was disrespected. Here's your money back. That hasn't happened.
What do you have to say to all the critics at this point? Now we officially have a Zuffa Boxing cruiserweight champion. What do you have to say to the world here?
What do I have to say to who?
To the critics. You're making things happen. You're making a lot of noise. And
To the fans?
No, just any critic in boxing.
Oh, critics?
Yeah.
Listen, there's always going to be critics. Look at what we've built over the last 25 years. We got critics climbing all over us. That's never going to change, but it's part of the fun of being in the fight business. It's like a daily soap opera. Like every day there's some crazy shit, and you got John Jones going on a rant last night. You got Eddie Hearn, the manager, signing, Tom, and there's always something in this business, so it's part of the fun of it.
One last thing for me, actually, I just remembered. I don't know if you've heard yet, but Brenton's mom got escorted out of the building. There was some sort of chaos in...
Whose mom did?
Brandon.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Glanton.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
We throw that guy's mom out?
There was a little bit of chaos in the lobby with her and
Probably
some
Nick
other
Khan.
fans.
Nick, you throw his mom out of here, what'd you do? I don't know anything about it, but we'll find out. He's a super nice kid, tough. I don't know what happened with his mom.
Dana, right over here.
Yeah.
Given how this week played out with the IBF, and knowing that Jai wants to be undisputed, and seeing that Zurdo and Benavidez are going to fight for a unification fight, what is going to be done differently, or how is this approach going to be done differently to kind of avoid the situation that we had this week?
Well, what could we have done differently? Just like he said a minute ago, they plan to do that. 110% plan to do that. You come out. First of all, the belt was sitting right in front of him the entire press conference. The belt could not have been more prominent. And it was in front of him because it's his belt. Those two were fighting for the Zuffa belt. And then he held it in his hand during the face. I mean, we did everything the right way and the way that's supposed to be done. So what would we or how could we do anything differently? I never disrespected them. I've never said anything about them. And when you think about, the WBC, when he went out on that big tour doing all the media, I'd never said anything about the WBC other than, I wasn't interested in working with the sanctioning bodies. That was it. I never called anybody out specifically or said anything negatively about any of them till about 10 minutes ago when I talked about basically the sport as a whole, and all of these guys are involved in the sport, and they're all fucking rinky-dink. Literally every one of these people are the most rinky-dink, bottom feeder, low-level people that I have ever, I don't know what you'd want to call it, been in business with. Beating up babies. Fucking nothing, no resistance, no competition, bottom feeder bullshit, like showing up and grabbing your fucking, what the hell? Yeah, your per diem check and jumping back on a plane and flying home. It's hilarious. How much was his per diem check? $200. That is fucking. The guy flew here, took $200 and got back on the plane and went back. That's the level of rinky-dink bullshit that we're dealing with here. How crazy! I thought you were going to say like 2,500 or something at least. Guy grabbed $200 and flew back to New Jersey. Did we fly him here too? Where? New Mexico? Flew here for $200. Guys, this is the level of things we're dealing with here. Isn't that crazy? You done with me?
Dana,
No,
Yeah.
Dana, I have
just
another one for you.
one more quick one. Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao has announced that they're going to fight at the Sphere. Do you expect anyone from either their teams to reach out to see how you guys put it together? Because this will be the first major event since you guys put on that.
Who's promoting it?
Manny Pacquiao Promotions.
Shit. I wonder who's paying for production. They're in for a big surprise. It is incredibly expensive. Yeah, it's interesting.
Dana, I did have.
They better call somebody to figure that out. Yeah, go ahead.
Dana, right over here. I did have a follow-up question. Just throwing out just to get your response. I've seen fans online say like, hey, Zuffa belt, it's just another belt now. We have all these belts now, and it's the one thing that they're talking about, saying there's too many belts. They're adding a belt now. What would be your response to that?
I would say that's ridiculous. So what we're doing is all the guys who fight for us, that will be the belt. There won't be any other belts. We'll have some situations where, Jai wanted to fight for the IBF, but this is all just getting started. We're 4 fights in. In 2-3 years, we'll see where we stand.
My other one is on the weight.
The writing is on the fucking wall. I mean, everybody can read it clearly now. And what I thought would be 2-3 years from now will be months. Months from now.
My other one is on the weight classes. Is there, by chance, any movement to add a little bit more weight classes? Maybe some guys that don't fit in one weight class or another weight class?
Not right now. No. I'm not saying never, but not right now.
Dana, one back here. Just one from tonight. Pablo Rubio was in here earlier, and he talked about how like events like the press conference kind of caught him by surprise because usually boxers in his stage of his career don't really get as much, promotion and just press behind him. So long term, do you think that's something that will also make Zuffa stand out, where we see guys in his stage of career get more opportunities to get put out there?
Yeah, I mean, if you think about Jai, right, and where he sits, and before tonight, right. And, Eddie Hearn was talking about, after he signed with us, I never made any money with that guy. And I told you guys, not his job. It's my job to make him and me as much money as we could possibly make it, right? And it's our job to promote him. Look at where this guy's been. Look at how he's been promoted since he signed with us. And yes, that will be the case with every guy. I mean, it's what we do with the UFC. It's what this machine does. So the answer is yes. But you knew that was the answer when you asked me that.
Well, I just think it's neat that, some of these guys are at other shows don't really get that much, press behind them.
Yeah. I mean, when you think about what we've done with the UFC, we'll have the main event and the co-main event, but sometimes people talk more about some of the fights that are on the prelims and in the middle more than they do the co or main, or just as much as they do. So, like I said, it's been a long time since there was a middle class in boxing. Good?
Hola,
Hi.
Ana. Yo solamente quiero preguntarte, a un par de meses de haber creado Zuffa Boxing ya tienes un campeón. ¿Cómo te sientes tú después de esta noche acerca de Zuffa Boxing?
Just a few months after creating Zuffa Boxing and launching Zuffa Boxing, you already have a champion. How do you feel about the fact that you already have a champion in such a short period of time?
Yeah, it's incredible. Like I said, everything is moving a lot faster than I expected it to, because I didn't really realize how bad all these people are that are involved in this sport, and how, like I said, I keep beating rinky-dink these people are. So it's happening much faster than I expected.
Muy feliz con eso, justamente porque no esperaba lo cuánto de malo que son los otros que están involucrados con este deporte y cuánto malo están haciendo las cosas y cómo están haciendo las cosas nosotros muy fáciles.
But at the same time, when you look at the state of the sport right now, I guess it makes sense.
Y cuando mira cómo está el estado del boxeo en ese momento, creo que hace sentido lo que ha pasado.
A pesar de tan poco tiempo, ¿es el mismo amor por Zuffa Boxing que por UFC?
And with such a short period of time, does the passion for Zuffa Boxing the same as for the UFC? For you?
What's the question?
Even though it's a short period of time, just launched, is the passion for Zuffa Boxing that you have is the same passion that you have for the UFC?
Yeah, so what I would say is my passion for all of it right now. You know, if you look at TKO as a whole and what we're trying to build, you know, we're way more than just a fight promoter. We are a sports media company. And yeah, I'm just as passionate as building all of it as I am the UFC.
Diría que la pasión está por todo, no solo por el UFC o por Zuffa, pero si ves a TKO el grupo, estamos hablando de un conglomerado de media. O sea, mi pasión es por todo, no solo por Zuffa o UFC.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Dana, one more, if you don't mind. Down the road, can you ever see yourself working with Bob Arum or the Zone people or any of these guys to put the best fighters in the ring? I mean, not just down the road.
What's the question?
Could you ever see yourself, if fans and you yourself and all boxing fans and promoters, everybody wants to see the two best guys in the ring, can you ever see yourself down the road working with an Arum or a DAZN?
Well, I'm 4 fights in. Imagine when I'm 44 fights in. We'll have all the best guys here. All the best guys are going to be here. We've done 4 events this year. Bob Arum's done 1. De La Hoya's done 1. PBC's done none. We've done 4. I just told you I might do 44 fights this year. We'll see how this all plays out. But we're definitely going to end up doing more than we had planned to do. I think the moral of this story here today is I don't see many of these guys are so bad at what they do. I don't know how they stick around. I don't know how any of them are literally going to coexist. And they can do whatever. I mean, there's no buried entry. You can, you know, they're just really bad. I mean, I don't, you know what I'm talking about. I don't have to fucking tell you. You see it. You feel it. You've been in the business. I'm just blown away by how really bad it is. I don't know how many more times I can beat a dead horse here, but yeah. You're asking me about Bob Arum. Bob Arum's been in the business for fucking 50 years. He put 1 fight on this year. He doesn't have a TV deal, as far as I know. Does Top Rank have a TV deal yet? Anybody? Don't even have a TV deal. What am I going to work with him on? He has no TV deal. Guy's been around for 50 years or more. No TV deal. De La Hoya? Don't even get me fucking started on that guy. Right? PBC hasn't put a fight on. I haven't seen or heard anything from Al Heyman. I heard he's sick. I don't know what's going on with Al. And then, you know, Eddie Hearn is the manager now. My rival, Eddie Hearn. Holy shit. Who else? I mean, who? I'm 4 fights in. These guys are fucking terrible. Have a good night.